Welcome back to the Financial Hive. If you are new, please take a second to like, share and subscribe. This will help spread this information to others in need. Now to the video. Now you've probably heard someone talk about living within your means. But you may not know exactly what it means or how to do it. That's okay. This video will give you 10 simple steps that can help you spend less and save more. Saving is not about depriving yourself of anything you want. It's about learning to understand how much you're spending, so that you can make informed decisions about where your money is going. How much you can afford to save will depend on how much you're already spending, your goals, your current financial situation, your targeted savings rate, and how much you have already saved. The first step is to become aware of how much you're spending on non-essentials. Once you become aware of how much you're spending on non-essentials, you can take action to change your spending habits and reduce the amount that you spend. Looking ahead. This will keep you from getting into a deep financial hole, and getting out of it is often challenging. However, your long-term goals are often within sight, so keep your eyes on the prize. Lifestyle design is living a life that maximizes the fulfillment of one's values and personal goals, while spending the least amount possible. And surprisingly, it doesn't have to cost a lot to live a great lifestyle. Step number 1. If you want to save money, the best place to start is by setting a budget. Setting a budget can seem overwhelming at first, but once you do it a few times, it gets easier. The first thing you want to do is write down all of your expenses. This includes things like your monthly bills and your groceries. Next, you want to create a list of everything you spend money on. By keeping track of your income and required expenses, such as your rent or mortgage, utilities, and insurance bills, you can identify when you have extra money and when you need to cut back. Using a spreadsheet to track your finances makes it easy to see where your money goes and which expenses are causing you to overspend. This also makes it easier to keep track of your goals and progress over time, which is useful if you want to buy a house or retire early. Step number 2. If you want to save even more money, you should try to track your spending for a couple of weeks. It doesn't matter how much you have, if you don't know where it's going. How can you know if you're spending too much or too little? If you're not sure how to set a budget, start by keeping a small notebook to track your spending and track your progress. You may be surprised by the amount spent on smaller, fun purchases, but looking over your receipts may give you a better idea about where you can cut back in order to live within your means. Make a column for each type of spending: groceries, utilities, transportation, housing, childcare, etc. Make another column for each type of savings goal. You can use this page to keep track of your spending and your progress toward your goals. Paying attention to where your money goes will help you make better decisions about where to spend your money. Maybe you can cut back on the coffee at work or the movie night with the family. You can also download apps on your phone that help you better manage your money. Step number 3. Once you have a budget, the next step is to save money before you spend it. This means setting aside a certain portion of your income so that it doesn't automatically go toward your expenses. For example, if your budget says you can spend $1,000 per month, set aside $200 of your income so that you can save $1,200 over the course of the month. Once you've saved enough money to feel comfortable, you can begin to spend again. It may seem like a lot of work at first, but it will help you get on the right track. Step number 4. If you're like most people, you have debt. That can be good, as it allows you to make purchases you couldn't afford otherwise. It can also be bad, as it can keep you from buying the things you want or setting aside money for a future goal. The first step is to make a plan for paying off your debt. If you have debt, the best way to save money is to pay it off. This not only lowers your interest payments, but it also gives you extra money in your savings account that you can invest or use to pay off other debts. It can be tempting to keep your old debt, such as your credit card balances, but if you don't pay it off, it will continue to accrue interest and will take away from your savings. Keeping a budget and paying off your debt as quickly as possible is a great way to save money over the long term. The best way to save money is to pay off your debt. If you have debt, such as a credit card balance or a student loan, it's important to cut up your cards and stop paying your loans as soon as possible. This frees up cash that you can use to save, which will help you become financially secure. It may take a little longer to pay off your debt, but in the long run, it's worth it. Step number 5. If you don't have any debt, the next best thing you can do is pay your bills with cash or debit instead of using credit. This can save you money on interest, and it also protects you from being charged fees or penalties if you don't pay your bill on time. It may take a little extra effort at first, but it's worth it to save money over the long term. If you find that you're consistently paying your bills with cash or debit, you can start to cut back on the amount of credit you use. Step number 6. Start planning ahead and setting goals for your money. You can set a monthly, quarterly, or yearly goal to save money by focusing on your long-term financial goals. For example, if you set a goal to save $2,000 every month, that leaves you open to spending $2,000 more per month, which may not seem like much, but it adds up quickly over time. You could also set a goal to save a certain percentage of each paycheck. Step number 7. If you wait for sales instead of buying things, it takes more time and effort, but you'll be saving money and avoiding unnecessary purchases. This is a pretty good strategy for saving, especially when it comes to impulse purchases. That way, if you feel the urge to buy something, and you can't afford it, you know that you will be saving money in the long run because you will be waiting for a sale or a better deal. Shop sales when they are on. Some people wait for specific sales to come up rather than use their best judgment and wait for the bottom of the sale. However, when a sale is on, don't overlook the fact that these sales often won't last beyond the scheduled sales date if the supply is low. You can find sales on big-ticket items like TVs and video games. Step number 8. When making a purchase, don't be afraid to ask for a lower price. Ask the price of an item and think about if you really want to pay that much for it. If you do, you can bargain to get a lower price or even get the item for less in most cases. Step number 9. One of the best ways to save money is to plan for fun. This means setting aside a certain percentage of your income so that it doesn't automatically go toward your expenses. Instead, set aside a portion of your money each month so that it's there to be used when you want to do something fun. This can make budgeting fun and not seem like a chore. And step number 10, and most importantly, make sure you have enough money to save. One of the best ways to do this is to get a side hustle or negotiate a higher salary. This not only gives you extra money to save, but it can also help you get out of a debt bind or build a small emergency fund. It's best to save as much as you can. But if you can't afford to save much, it's better to save a little than to save nothing at all. Saving is a lot easier when you have a budget and a system for managing your money, but it's also easier to spend when you don't have much. The best way to save is to live within your means. The more you save, the less debt you have, and the more money you have available to invest and build up your savings. The 10 best ways to live within your means will help you get started, but the best way to save is to plan for your future and start investing early. Once you've saved up enough, you can start investing and building up your savings. This is the best way to save money, and it will help you build up your future instead of living paycheck to paycheck. This will allow you to build a nest egg that can support you no matter what life throws your way. Please like, share, comment, and subscribe for more helpful videos like this. Tell us what you learned in the comment section below. Until next time, this is Financial Hive.